Today we're gonna do a little talk, tie a few flies, and then we're gonna go do a little fishing in the still, well, kind of partially still deep water of the river and see if we can't pull something out. But I want to start a little conversation off here with dubbings and also marabou too. Choosing the right color of green, or I should say olive, is my main thing. Is like certain colors are just the wrong color for it, but they work. They just simulate different patterns. This one here, awesome color, awesome. I keep a sample of the best color I've had luck with separate, so that way I can always reference back to it. And this one is just about the same, except for this has got a little bit of ice in it, and this is like my go-to number 2 on my choice for a color of olive. But number 1 would have to come back down here to the bug dub. This one right here, complete matchup, right shade of green and everything, perfect. Like it works completely perfect with like almost any shade of the olive or greens that I have, which I tie a lot of sculpin flies and I tie a lot of olive woolly buggers. But this one here is also a dark olive version of the same kind, but it keeps the same ice dub and everything in it, so it's got that little bit of flash. And I don't know if you guys could see that on there, where it's got that little bit of flash in it, you know. It's kind of a probably bad lighting on my behalf too, but bug dub is what I choose. Also, I got a few of these little cards of this stuff, and some of this is listed as olive, but none of it really matches up. It's more of like a aqua green colors and stuff like that. They don't they match up for like good for like nymphs and stuff like that. It's just that light olive color. I had some other light olive, I just can't find it to compare that to. But we're gonna move over here to yeah, the marabou collection. We got the light olive. This here I think is supposed to just be straight regular olive. And then over here we got some strong marabou olive from the Drift Fly Shop here in Pueblo. I got some more here, but this is the sculpin color. Still, sculpin is still olive, but when you look at the colors on it, there's a big difference between the two. This one's more olive, and this one over here is more of a kind of golden olive kind of color. Works really well for like imitating small fish, because that goldish color that's in it kind of gives it this kind of like little baby carp or something look to it, you know, or sculpin, I guess is what it's supposed to be. But kind of has like a shimmer to the way that the marabou looks in the water itself, versus where using the olive colored one just looks kind of green. You know, it doesn't really have that pop. But I can't remember where I got this one from, but it's an okay color. It's just not the best. It's just way too mossy green. But one thing I wanted to make sure to mention to everybody is flies are meant to be like unscented and stuff like that. There's one of these, I don't know where I got it from, but it smells like old ladies, like, I don't know, it smells weird. Like that one there smells like mothballs. There's another one that smells like, I don't know, not baby powder, but like something in that odor. And then also what I use for all of the hackling on my flies is I use the Whiting Farms, the little booger packs here. They're pretty good. Lots of variety in sizes, but pretty uniform in color. And it also comes in right around the color of olive. And I'll pull a couple of these boogers out for you, let you see. Some of these I've really been working on, but they're pretty nice. They got beautiful little feathers coming off of them. And they work wonderful for good strong little quills in the center too, to keep them nice and stiff in the water. The hooks I like to use are these ones. They're streamer style, not real long shank, but they're a jig style hook. That's what I always like to use whenever I'm tying these. That would be a size 10 is what it says in there. And they work pretty good. And then depending upon my situation and the water and how deep it is, I think I'm out of the other ones. Yeah, I think I'm completely out. Usually I have 3 or 4 packs of everything in here, but apparently I'm out of the other ones. So what I've been always using is these Wapisi straight lead eyes. They work pretty decent. They get the fly down relatively quick, but in faster moving currents, they tend to like not drop out. They just kind of tend to make a nice little angle coming down. But you can get them to fall out pretty quick as long as you get a little bit of a mend going on in there. And then when it comes to my thread collection, I use all this uni thread over here. These are all 72 denier 8 whatever. Yeah, I mainly use the olive one. It's like my favorite one to roll with. So we'll just go ahead and get one of these hooks out here. Oh, it's stuck on the package. They got a pretty decent barb on them, but I tend to smash the barb down after I catch the first fish. The only reason why is because I want the skunk to be caught, not thrown away. So just go ahead and tie that on there. Get out the scissors. Love that sound. Alright, get everything else out of my little drawer that I need, and I'll close that up. Alright, so now that we've got that thread started on there, then we're going to go ahead and get one of our little lead eyes here. The 1/40th of an ounce. Plain lead eyes. I think they're, it says size small. I think that's what it says, but I know there's smaller versions, just not of the dumbbell style eyes. I guess you could make your own. Oop. Couple wraps one way. Oh. Making some nice little saddle wraps, and then I go back down around like this up underneath the eyeball and get it nice and tight. One thing I always do is I counter wrap a few wraps just to make sure everything stays tight. And those are on there. Oh, geez, doing real good. So what I'm going to look for here is I'm just going to come over and find a marabou real quick. Then I'm going to thread this shank the rest of the way down here. I like to take it just past where my marabou is going to be set and then bind it back down on itself a little bit, so that way the thread stays there, it stays locked in position. And I do my marabou a little bit different than a lot of people, I think, because this marabou is just really beat up. So instead of choosing just one feather out of this bunch, what I tend to do is I tend to grab a section of it like this, kind of find out where it looks nice, lined up with one another, like so. Remember, I'm not trying to be fancy with this. I'm just tying it up is all. Sometimes that difference in look is all that matters. And I just get that around there a couple times, pulling it nice and snug with the uni thread there. I go up the shank, back up to where the eyeballs are, and then I go back over the top, like so. I'll give that another wrap. Yeah, it may look kind of funky right now, but we'll be good when we get to the end of this. I want to make sure I get back to where my point is, going right to basically right where the barb is. I'll just grab a few of these little stray hairs out of there. I fished with this fly just like it is right now, and I've got fish. So it's a pretty effective pattern. Just make sure we keep it on there nice and pretty. And we'll go ahead and choose one of our whiting booger pack hackle feathers here. In case anybody's wondering, no, I do not use any kind of thread to lock my hackles down. I tend to just let the hackle hold itself. Most of these flies get plenty of usage and they don't fall apart. These are some big feathers I have left. Maybe I should have got another booger pack. Some smaller measurement feathers there. Alright. Moving on to dubbing now. See, that's just a little bit off on that color. And that's the Prism Bug Dub. See this one here, it's a lot lighter color than that other back there. It's hard to make colors match unless you start making your own and blending it to make certain colors. Now when you're doing dubbing and you're dubbing it onto your thread, the best thing to do is to take and just rub it around there, but don't try to scoot it up and down the thread. When you scoot it up and down is when it peels off. So you just want to put a pinch on the line, spread it out a little bit, twist it down. I don't know how much that's actually getting in the video. I probably made this way too long to fit around past the camera there, so this ought to be interesting. Yeah, definitely going to be interesting. It's probably going to look pretty bad, make me look like I'm a real professional here. I'm doing what I can do with the room I got. Evidently I have a GoPro that's like 4 inches or 3 inches away from this fly that I'm currently tying, because I've kicked the GoPro, and also I keep hitting it with a thread. I'll tighten that bobbin down a little more. Maybe on the next little section of dubbing I gotta put a little more in there. Just a little more. The key is that the little strands that stick out and make it look all horrible makes this fly an awesome fly. It's the one fly I can guarantee you to catch you a fish almost anywhere. I just give it a few wraps around the eyes there. And I always stop the thread behind the eye because the jig hook, it tends to fall off the end. And no, I do not use hackle pliers. I am completely against them. I think they damage everything. Could probably have used a little bit shorter hackle. And then we'll just go ahead and get the whip finisher. Not even worried about putting a, what do you call it on there? Solid little head finish. Don't need to do nothing like that. Flies good like it is. Don't need no thread on there or nothing. That's perfect right there. And when it falls down, it goes just like this. Pulling it through the water, it kind of has like a nice little look to it. Awesome. Perfect fly to go fishing with. Make a few more, and I'm gonna head on down to the river. The sculpins. Yeah, so now that I've got the fly tied, or I should say flies tied, I'm gonna be heading down to the river, and we're gonna see if we can't catch something. Turn you guys back on in a minute.